this is a wide open subject. It's definitely going to take more than one podcast to cover everything we'd like to talk about. But Beau and I have been through quite an experience. It cost me 6 years of my life in jail. It cost him 6 years of his life with me and our lives together. And it's kind of hard to find a place to jump in, to be honest with you. But, you know, probably one of the main messages that we want to get across is that we're not here to be, I take exception with being considered a victim. We want to be considered whistleblowers. I want to, at the end of the day, our story is important. It's mostly important. It's bigger than us. It happened to us, and our story is different because have you ever seen a movie where somebody was kidnapped and they thought they were being followed by their rescuer, so they would break limbs and make marks in the sand so they could point their rescuers in the right direction? Well, I did all that all along the way, and all the evidence that anybody should ever need to know that family court is corrupt can be found in my case. And so we're whistleblowers. Well, I'm a whistleblower. I mean, that's what I want to be considered as a whistleblower. What I need is people to understand that this is happening to families every day in probably every county in Mississippi and across the nation, and with mostly no legal basis for money. Now, what do I mean by that? There's no need for anybody that doesn't know me to take my word for what I'm trying to say right now. All you need to do, if you're at home, if you see this podcast tonight, if you're watching now or you're watching in the future, is to Google family court corruption on Google. All right? Try that. Family court corruption, and just start to read the results. It's going to take you down a rabbit hole. You're going to read some things that you won't believe. Google family court tragedy. Whole other rabbit hole. This is happening all across the country, in almost every state, and almost every county in every state, to families, especially Mississippi. Mississippi has some of the loosest child custody laws that you'll find, and it's not. This is not by accident; it's by design. If you blindfold a monkey and get him drunk, he will not make but a certain number of bad decisions. It's mathematically impossible to make every decision wrongly. These family courts are making wrong decisions intentionally for money, day in and day out, in family courts all across Mississippi. And it's an atrocity, to be honest with you. And it's real. It's real. And, it just is. So that's, our message here is not, we're fighters. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I was born in Oxford, Mississippi. I was raised in Mississippi until I was about 6 or 7. My family, my parents divorced. We moved to Kentucky. I went to grade school in Kentucky. I cut tobacco, hauled hay, worked for farmers. And I moved back to Mississippi in 1993. I went to college. Graduated miraculously, but I did graduate, and then and then I've been in business all my life. I was a private pilot, which is an accomplishment. And I'm not somebody that's not worldly or educated. This happened to us. It took me 6 years to reach a point where I could put enough pressure on the court system to get out of jail. You have to assume that there are people out there that are less educated and less worldly who are being manipulated on a greater scale. It's happening to everybody. So that's what we want to talk about. I mean, ultimately, I don't want to put too serious a twist on this so that it becomes a formal, just a totally formal interview. But people have to understand that we're not here just to talk about what happened to us. We're trying to raise awareness is what we're trying to do. Mississippi is one of the worst states in the country for child custody laws. Now, I want everybody to understand that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail here about the court system so that everybody understands. One of the things that I was held for 6 years, and but first of all, let's do this. I do want to take an oath here. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. This is testimony.
Yeah.
All right. So anything that I say, I can stand behind. My court case, most of this is documented. You don't have to go any further than the documents in my case to see it. But custody, first of all, the First Amendment is huge right now. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have put the First Amendment in the forefront of the American political scene because Elon Musk has made it possible to go on Twitter and say what you think for the first time in a long time without being reprehended for it. Reprehended may not even be a word. But anyway, the First Amendment covers a lot more than just our right to free speech. It encompasses more important rights even than that, which is, for one, is our right to choose. Our right to choose in America is protected. You can choose to be married to someone. You can also choose to be divorced from that person. And that is a protected choice. We are sitting here right now because we have the right to associate with one another. And these are all described by the U.S. Supreme Court. This is a big deal. The First Amendment is huge, and it's very present in the family court arena. This is why this is family court and child custody court applies. It carries with it connotations that are much more important than child custody. If you cannot have these rights observed in family court setting, you cannot have these rights observed in other places. They're that serious. Okay, so one of the reasons I was held, the other thing is children have a right, Beau and I have a right to associate with one another, a constitutional right that's been articulated on by the U.S. Supreme Court. He has rights too to associate with me and to learn from me, and I have rights to associate with him. These rights are all violated in family court on a daily basis. But
real quick, in last year, let's say the last 5 years, how many cases have you? You've been researching this situation, but how many cases have you come up with in your same situation?
Well, hardly anybody. Well, I don't know how to answer that question. Almost everyone that everyone that our viewers here tonight or in the future, everybody knows somebody that's been affected by family court. How many people do you know that have been affected by it? You just think about how many of your friends have been through divorce. They have to pay child support. This is an ongoing issue. I've spent untold numbers of hours in my jail cell reading about it, trying to find a way to get out of jail, and I'm not sure how to answer your question, but it affects a large number of people.
Well, I probably know about 40 or 50 personal cases. And it's always comes to a lopsided situation in family court.
It's always lopsided.
Yeah.
Even the winners know it's corrupt. Now look, every attorney that you know and every judge that you know knows how corrupt family court is. They all know it. They will not discuss it with you, but they all know it. This is not new. This is not a one-off. I may be wrong. If any of these people want to come forward and say they're not associated with it, that they're an attorney or a judge and they're not corrupt, then they should come on. I mean, they're welcome to come sit down with us and talk about it. I don't mean to say that everybody that's involved in family court is bad. I do mean to say that family court is atrocious, and all of the actors, it's so prevalent and it's so deeply rooted that no one will speak out against it. You don't hear my case. You think about how serious I was in jail 6 years and 1 month, and you had to hear about it. No offense, but if not for this podcast, there would be no media attention on it whatsoever.
Love you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, here's to you, Jordan. I mean, Jordan Duran saving the world. I'm just believe me, people, when I tell you that this is the time to talk about this is now. And I know we're jumping around here, but you're going to see.
Sorry.
Hopefully.
Yeah, dude, take your time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot to talk about, but you're going to see, if you watch national news, everybody's watching Donald Trump and Elon Musk right now. They are they are encountering these federal judges that are trying to block what they're doing. They're exposing corruption and fraud and all these things, and they're running into difficulties. Federal judges are trying to block them from.
And then last night we saw some of the kickback, and Trump said maybe we should be looking at these judges.
Well,
he said
that's
that.
what it's going to come down to. Elon Musk said they must be impeached. Okay, there's a process.
Voted in, right?
I mean, look.
The federal judges are not voted in. In most cases, they're appointed for life.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, real quick though. Your buddy Ron, the part one.
Sure.
What was Ron's last name?
Ron Palmer.
So if you go back to part one, that was more in depth with talking legal system, and Ron was Zoom and calling us.
Yeah.
So Justin,
Ron was
fixfamilycourts.com.
and Justin really didn't get to talk the way he's talking now. So if you're getting kind of confused, go back to that one and hear that one too. But
absolutely, Ron,
Sorry, say his website.
Yeah, I wanted to say his website again.
Yeah, Fix.
So it's Ron and Sherry Palmer, fixfamilycourts.com.
Fixfamilycourts.com.
They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook.
They're real people, and they are very good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And that's a website, by the way. They have their own website. So if you just type in fixfamilycourts.com, it'll take you directly to their website. So it's
not necessarily fair to say that Ron is the single reason that I'm sitting here right now, because there were a lot of players inside the jail and outside the jail that made it possible for me to get in touch with them, that I don't want to exclude from my list of thank yous. But Ron is the person that articulated the arguments that were necessary to put pressure on the court system to let them know that what they were doing was illegal, and that we knew it was illegal. It still took a year for me to be released. And so, in America, we're not guaranteed fair treatment, okay? We're not. We think we are, but we're not guaranteed fair treatment. What we are guaranteed is a path to redress our grievances if we are unfairly treated. So when you're unfairly treated, you can turn to the court system and apply, or ask to have your grievances redressed. In family court, what is significant about family court is that path has been removed. In family court, core fundamental rights to custody, free speech, freedom of religion, freedom of anything you can imagine. The most important, the things that we take for granted will never be taken from us, are violated with very little care or thought. And when you try to appeal, when you try to redress those grievances, when you go up the ladder to receive higher court the appeals process turns you right back into the chancery court system, they turn you back to the judge that you started with, who's now offended because you even tried to appeal.
What?
This is the way it works. This is to take if any attorney or judge wants to come on this show or anywhere else and debate me on this, I'll be welcome to. I'd love to talk to them about it. But you're turned back into the judge that you started with, and now this judge is mad. He's mad, and your attorney says, "Well, we don't want to make the judge mad." Well, judges aren't supposed to be mad; they're impartial. Mm-hmm. So this is by design, and I'm not the only one that says this. It's like I said before. Google family court, Google these things, and you'll see what I'm saying is true. And Mississippi is no exception. And so, see, one of the things that I was held for was not taking a psychological evaluation. All right, that was ordered by a family court judge who, it was actually ordered because they said Beau was being alienated by his mother, so they wanted us to have. All right, well, the reason that's there are a number of reasons why that's illegal. Okay, I just want to tell you that I know what I'm talking about. Everybody's familiar with the court system, mostly with the criminal court system. Most experience people have with the court system is with criminal court, speeding tickets, whatever. Everybody knows that the criminal court system is broken down into two stages. You go to court, you get a trial date. If you're found guilty, you can be put in prison. You're familiar with this. Criminal court is bifurcated. That means there's two stages. There's the adjudication stage, and then there's a dispositional stage. The adjudication phase is all to build jurisdiction for the court. You're the right person that committed the crime. A crime was committed. They have probable cause to think you did it. This all to get you to the trial. If you're found guilty, now we change into the dispositional phase, which is you can be sentenced to prison or whatever the applicable punishment is. Civil court is also bifurcated. It mimics the criminal court system. There has to be an adjudication of your rights before any dispositional orders can be entered. Drug tests and psychological evaluations are dispositional orders. They can only occur legally after an adjudication of your custody has been entered. If you are found to be an unfit parent and that adjudication is entered by a judge, that this is not a simple process, but if it happens and you are found to be an unfit parent, then the court has authority, jurisdiction to enter dispositional orders, drug tests. So now you've lost your son or your daughter. You're trying to get back into their life. The court can now require you to jump through hoops to do that. Drug tests, psychological evaluations, whatever. If you've not been found unfit, the state court system has no business asking you to prove that you're a parent that's fit because you're already fit. Do you see what I'm saying? They cannot enter dispositional orders. They're constitutionally forbidden from entering dispositional orders in the adjudication phase, which is what happens to everybody. What they do is they get you into court and they make you think you've got to take drug tests, psychological, all this stuff, and it's all to build evidence to take your custody that they don't have. They don't have this evidence. They need you to, it's all a setup. It's a scam.
It's a roadblock.
It's a scam, and it's the most atrocious. Go ahead, Beau.
Do you think it might help some of the people that are viewing now? Because we don't know who's viewing now and who was viewing the last time.
Right.
It might be helpful to start out from the beginning, how it happened, just with our family. Maybe.
Yeah, let's get into that, Beau. What was your upbringing like, and your
well,
childhood?
My parents got divorced when I was pretty young, but y'all got divorced when I was like 8, right? Was it?
We'd been divorced 3 years when the custody suit was filed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm unsure
you
how
were
old
you were about 9.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, I got you. And then so You've been divorced for 3 years. When the
Actually,
custody
I take that back. you were 6 or 7.
okay, that's a lot different.
Well,
That's
no, Beau was 12 when I went to jail.
Okay.
We'd been
Yeah,
we'd
that
been in
sounds
court for 3 years over the custody, so he was about 8 or 9.
So y'all divorced when I was 8 or 9.
Yeah,
And then 3 years later, the
we
court battle started.
We
Or-
divorced. Muppet's mother. Beau's mother and I divorced in 2012. Okay, and we had joint legal and physical custody. We agreed to that in the divorce. There was no.
No child support.
Well,
That's a good
I agreed to
point.
pay child support of $350 a month, and the reason, in a joint legal and physical custody divorce, there is really normally child support is not ordered because it's assumed that each parent has a child half the time, so there's no offset of expenses. I pay for expenses while he's with me, and she pays for expenses while he's with her. So there's no offset of the expenses, so there's no child support. But
Which makes sense.
Beau's mother was a teacher, and he had been on her insurance through the school since he was born, and so that was like $160 or $170 a month, and so I agreed to pay. Well, I didn't agree. I offered to pay child support. I mean, I wanted to be supportive. This was something that we both wanted to do, and so I'm trying to be fair about it, and so I offered to pay $350 a month to offset the insurance cost, and and I mean whatever extra. I mean just to
Be fair.
good faith. Yeah,
Yeah,
really. I mean
just
seriously,
yeah.
seriously, and
Common
so
sense.
Makes sense.
And I, yeah,
Like,
man.
I
I
was,
mean, right.
I was spending a week with my mom and then a week with my dad, which is how I preferred it. I mean, it makes sense. If your parents are going to get divorced, it's like your parents are divorced. That sucks.
It
But,
sucks.
Yeah, the least you can do is provide the same amount of time with both parents, right? I mean, if you're going to try to salvage whatever kind of relationship you have left with your parents, I loved the week with my mom, week with my dad.
Do you remember the days with the third? I'm sorry.
No, that was unheard of in the 90s. By the
Yeah.
way.
That's
And he
not,
talked about that.
Yeah,
like,
my parents
this
divorced when
shit
I was
wasn't
3,
even-
and it was
that wasn't an
rough.
option.
that's not how it went, bro. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Ma-
it's different if like one of your parents just sucks, right? But I mean, from my experience, from
I mean, I
my
don't-
page, I heard you sigh.
No, I'm just saying, like, who says that? Somebody's got to say that.
Yeah,
Do you remember
yeah.
your day? So my question is, do you remember your day? Was it that Sunday night or was it a Thursday? Like my buddy DJ, he does Thursday to Thursday,
Mhm.
and he does pay child support, to help out because of
Yeah.
income versus a little bit, but they're joint too. It's just how that works. But do you remember your day that you went over your dad's?
I think so because of school. I
Friday.
think
It was Friday to Friday.
Friday,
Friday,
right? Yeah,
Friday,
we the parent would pick me up from Friday. I would transition on Friday. Was how it went. But I mean, and that was how I preferred it. Of course, nobody gave a shit what I thought because I was so young. But that's what
You're
I
a fucking
liked.
child.
Play some Power Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, forget
Shut
him.
up
He's
and listen.
however old." Yeah, who gives a shit what he wants? But that's how I liked it. And then, not too long after that, if I'm not mistaken, I guess I can't say names. That's really hard to get used to. My mother tried to get custody, right? Or at least full custody, with the understanding that she would allow me to see you sometimes. But if you have full custody, I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want. It's like you can't. That's
Well,
just
they didn't. In fairness, they did not sue for full custody. What they sued for was to modify the custody to a the first stage, to modify the custody to what everybody knows about custody, which is to make me an every other weekend parent. So I would have Beau every other weekend,
Yeah.
and
That's what I know.
Which is insane.
It's not enough time to know your children. The best times don't happen. You can take your children on vacations to Europe or whatever you want to do, but the best times happen when you're watching television in your underwear and at home with your kids, and the best times happen when you're just with somebody.
Yeah.
So
So I think for me, I come from parents being divorced, it really doesn't make any damn sense because it's like if
Whose
dad,
parents are together?
yeah, but dad and mom's like, you know, and from my experience, normally, but my experience it goes from like moms having more. This is just my personal experience, having more of the time, and I was the weekend kid, like it was every weekend or every other weekend.
With
Every
dad.
other,
Yeah, it's every other weekend, but like, how do you have that comfortable relationship because you only see your dad for
It's not enough.
Yeah,
6 weeks, 6 days out of the month?
Yeah, and who came up with that? Who was like, oh, well, screw dad? You know, like, who
That's
decided
it is
that?
weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
In the
Who
90s, that
like-
was the status quo, man.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It was
what sense does that make to put more time with the mother?
I don't think my dad actually wanted me all the time, but that's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, you had like a day and you ate breakfast, and it's like, I love you. I'll see you.
All right, we'll see you in a
Well,
week.
your mother's calling.
It's like,
And you get
Well,
teary-eyed.
it's daylight savings. That's weird.
As it turns out, I'll keep this brief, but the reason for that is this. Well, first of all, when two parents are married, there's give and take.
Mhm.
You know, the woman wants things, the dad wants things. They have to work together. Joint custody is not necessarily, it starts out as a division of the child's time, but really the reason it's important is because it encourages the parents of the kids to work together. I mean, if you want to alter, if you begin, and Beau's mother and I tried, that's how we started out. I mean, I had joint custody, but, you know, she was a school teacher, so Beau was going to stay with her during the school week and me on every weekend or whatever. That didn't last long because what it amounted to was her family wanted full control of his time. So I said, well, if that's the case, we'll just do the week on, week off thing. But the thing, what you're trying to instill in people is the fact that they're going to have to work with the parent. If you marry somebody and have children with that person, you're going to have to work with that person until the child is 18 years old or grown. I mean, you know, when people realize that they're going to have to work with the other parent and neither parent has full control of the child, then that's going to compel them to work together, and it's going to be better for the child to have both parents involved. Mm-hmm. The reason that custody is ordered like it is because the federal government subsidizes the states based on the number of child support orders that they enter every year. And you can look this up. This is what Weigel guy was talking about. Through Title 4D of the Social Security Act. And states compete with one another for, you know, the amount of funds they receive every year is tied to the number of child support orders that they enter. If joint legal and physical custody is the outcome of the divorce, there is no child support. Child support is only awarded if the children spend more time with one parent than the other parent. Then they can enter a child support order.
That's what I thought.
And that
Bingo.
money, and then, so the federal government actually incentivizes the states to offset child support, offset custody. And so this, of course, is constitutionally impermissible unless you don't know what's going on. And so when you go into a family court setting, your attorney, the attorneys and the judges, there's nothing judicial for an act of a court to be judicial. It has to meet certain standards. Nothing judicial goes on in a family court setting. It's all a regulatory act. They trick the parents into thinking that they have to do this, have to do that. Before they know it, they've signed all these documents. One parent is now custodial, one's non-custodial, and the whole thing is a sham. There's no other way to look at it, and I'm right. It's a sham.
You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no need me going into the case law or trying to bore everybody to death, but this is just the way it is.
And then the child grows up miserable, and I mean,
Well,
whatever else
so,
happens.
Like
I mean,
y'all's case, Justin was a great father to you.
yeah, absolutely. Why do you?
When he got detained,
Mhm.
what were you trying to figure? I mean, we talked about it in the first one, but let's rehash it real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to figure.
You got detained.
Going on first of all.
Well, that first, but then I was trying to figure. I was like, all right, the worst people I could be with are the people I'm with. Why would they take away the one person that I need to be with? That doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah.
But all I could do was complain to the people that I didn't want to be with.
Did it.
And what are they going to do? They're not going to do the right thing or anything. You know?
And so the charge was when you got, did you get cuffed in the courtroom?
He did.
Civil
He got
discontempt.
cuffed. Yeah.
Is that what
Contempt,
the charge
civil
was?
Civil contempt.
So you got
Were you there for that?
cuffed.
Yeah.
And you got taken into Grenada County Jail. And then all of a sudden you're in Grenada County Jail for 6 years and 1 month. How come you never went to... Has anyone ever been held in the county jail for 6 years and 1 month?
There have been cases across the country of people being held for civil contempt. And let me tell you, that this is the kind of case. There was an attorney that was arrested. He married a younger woman. She wanted a divorce. He shoveled about $3 million into an offshore account and would not turn it over to the family court to award to her during the divorce. He was held in contempt. Civil contempt is a real mechanism. It's
like a black hole in the court system.
It's
right?
it's it's an area of the law that is left fully described so that it can be abused. And I was in prison for $1,400 in child support
You're in jail.
that I had no way to pay.
I mean, is there a difference? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there's definitely.
Well, in prison,
There
I
is
mean,
a
I was put in the jail. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
I'm saying-
incarcerated.
You were in county jail.
So,
Yeah,
but I'm
county jail.
saying, like, you didn't have a library to access internet or anything.
No law library.
We'll talk about that.
This is not even close to being legal. It's, I mean,
kind of fucking
it's,
man-made bullshit purgatory.
People get attacked by grizzly bears. Some people survive cancer. I survived family court, and it's that simple.
You survived county jail in Grenada for 6 years and 1 month, which I would not have been able to do.
What's the place called?
The Grenada County Jail.
Grenada County Jail.
Good. I'm still
Grenada
here.
County
Everybody
Jail.
in
That's-
this.
Yeah, we're all from there.
I know this is gonna be deep on you. This is something I been want to
That's
ask.
something I like to admit.
No, me either.
So first off, was it MDI your company?
Yes, MDI, McPhail Diversified Industrial. I've been for, in 2015, I went into business for myself. I had a contract with the Colonial Pipeline Company out of Alpharetta, Georgia. And we educated ourselves on how to use some really cutting edge 3D modeling software, and was able to secure a lot of work with the Colonial Pipeline Company, and it was going really well for a couple of years, and it was all interrupted as a result of this child custody case. And I won't go into any detail about how I suspect it became interrupted, but it was no accident. And that had to be done to get me into a situation where I could not pay child support. I mean, up until that time, I was paying child support for the 2 years preceding my incarceration. I was paying child support ahead of time, weekly. My office manager paid child support, and I never minded paying child support. I had paid $26,000 in child support before I got locked up without ever.
That's crazy.
Well, I look, to this day, right now, Beau's child support is paid.
That's right.
That seems.
$50,000 on one child, and I don't have a problem paying child support. I had paid $26,000 in child support when they incarcerated me. I was behind $1,400, and I was incarcerated for not paying child support that I could not pay, for not taking a drug test that they had no business ordering, and for not taking a psychological evaluation that they had no jurisdiction to enter. And, we had been in court for 3 years already. I refused these tests, not on the basis, look, you just have to know when you're being set up. And I just said, this is enough. I'm not going to go any further. If you're going to take Beau from me, you're going to take him. I'm not going to give him to you. If you're going to take him, you're going to take him. But I'm not going down this rabbit hole of all these, because it never ends. And so.
Was there any history of psych problems? None.
I have no history of mental health treatment, no history of mental health. None.
That's a hell of a thing just to fabricate.
All of a sudden, at 43 years old, in the
Right.
middle of a child custody case, I lost my mind. They said.
Yeah, and so
I would lose my mind.
and then they're just
Well,
like,
I mean, I'm saying,
Yeah.
well, have you ever
Yeah.
taken any drugs? Like, like, where are we at? I mean, like,
it had never been mentioned before.
nothing,
All of a sudden,
nothing,
right?
nothing.
So, and these things all, this all came up. So let me tell you how. There's so much to tell here, but
We got more. We'll do more.
guarding ad litems.
Oh boy.
I've
These
heard nothing
people-
but terrible shit stories
So-
about them.
So we'd been in court for 3 years, and I was, fighting to keep Beau and just fighting this custody case. It just takes all your money and all your time. I'd already been through 5 attorneys. I didn't have any more money for attorneys, and so when I ran out of money and I couldn't afford an attorney, the court and my ex-wife's attorney, they seized on the opportunity to hold a hearing and say, we got to have a trial. This was on November the 15th, I think, 2017. I remember the hearing well. I said, I don't have an attorney. I don't know how to carry out a trial. I'll learn.
So
But
that's
I don't-
Okay, we'll do it
I
anyway.
don't. They said, well, don't worry, we're going to do it anyway.
That's exactly right.
They set a trial date for January the 5th, 2018. Huh. I said, well,
Well,
let me go read the rules. So the rules is another thing. But anyway, so I go and read the rules, and it's like, well, before a trial can take place, the opposing sides have to get together and disclose what evidence they're going to use
Bring
at
to
the
the
trial,
case,
right? So we can. This is all intended to save time at the trial. That way, nobody's surprised by anything. They don't have to postpone anything while they go get ready for it. So okay.
Just get blindsided.
So yeah, get blindsided. So I'm a dummy. I'm just naive. Well, I'm just grasping at straws here. And so I think, well, I'm going to ask for a meeting with a guardian ad litem. And so I take my mother and my girlfriend at the time and Beau, and I go meet with the guardian ad litem. And we sit down with her together. She wouldn't let Beau come in because he was a minor.
evil woman. Evil woman.
And I shared text messages and email. All I did, the evidence that I had of what was really going on.
This is good shit right here. I know what you're about to tell.
And this woman says to me, she says, well, what about the mixed race couple that's living in your home? And I really, at the time, I had one of my friends and his girlfriend, I had let them stay in my house because I really did never stay there. And I was, and so, but this didn't occur to me. I was thinking, who's she talking about? She asked me this 6 or 7 times. And finally, I said, you're an agent of the state of Mississippi, is that right? Yeah. Are you telling me in 2017 that having a mixed race couple stay in my home is any more significant than having any other couple? What are you getting at? And when I said this, she said, well, I didn't say that. Jay said that, and I have his notes right here. And she held up a notepad that she had been colluding with my ex-wife's attorney before this meeting to try to steer me off course. Anyway, in front of 2 witnesses, my mother and Melissa Chapman. And so I went back to Grenada and I entered an affidavit on the record. This is all documented. These people will do anything. So after that meeting, I said, well, she said, well, this has been recorded. So I wanted a copy of the recording after the meeting. I couldn't they wouldn't let me have that. But right after that was when the motion for the drug test and the psychological evaluation was entered. It was, and I just, you just know. You just know that it's a setup. Yeah.
They fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I was in prison right behind that. I was in prison. So what they did was I had asked to have the trial continue. They wouldn't continue the trial. This happened, and they continued the trial. long enough to put me in jail, and that's the way it went down.
With this chancery court, I just see, even on a smaller level before court, like children are just weaponized now.
Yeah.
They're only weaponized.
Or
And-
just ignored. Yeah.
Beau, how was Grenada High for you? Luckily, I got out right before I had to go there, but
Oh,
Oh man, I don't. From 6th grade up, man, it was just terrible. There was no difference.
besides being in Grenada, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that probably had a lot to do.
we didn't
with
know
it.
any different then.
Yeah. I had. Oh man. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that.
Bo was I can tell you that Bo
I'm sorry. It's just.
Bo benefited from divorce, and I don't know how many other children can say this, but between the time we were divorced and the time the child custody suit was filed, Bo was doing better than ever. He was a bright kid. He looked forward to every day. He was optimistic. I mean, he just was. You could just tell when somebody's doing good, when they're doing and they're healthy and they're vibrant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
Dude, just today, my barber was like, dude, Beau, she was like, Beau's the sweetest kid I've ever met. Like, has super respectable, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and she didn't know what to think, but it was cool to hear.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you're. I'm glad
Emma's
that,
got a like care package for college or whatever. I forgot to pick it up.
yeah.
I grabbed my laptop bag, but she had it next to my laptop bag, and I didn't know. So, got to get to you. I got to get to you Thursday.
Oh, thank you.
So put something
really
together
appreciate-
for you.
I really appreciate that, man.
we do appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
real,
she was just
yeah.
excited for you, and so I was like, I did. I was like, she's like, well, put it next to your laptop bag. I'm like, well, should have tied it to it because I grabbed my laptop
right.
bag. There's a couple questions on the wait. I know Anthony's using the restroom. I got to use the restroom.
Let's take a bathroom break.
Let's
Do
take a- yeah,
we
take a
have any
break.
questions rolling in on the?
No, we're good. We're gonna introduce Brad J.
Yeah.
Brad
Yeah,
J.
yeah, we're taking
Yeah,
take a short
hey Brad,
break
come.
and then-
Yeah,
come
come
back.
get in here and explain who you are, how you met Justin, your movie career, your new movie coming out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Quite a bit to
Yeah. Take
Anything you want. I got a pee.
offload there. All right, come on.
I think we're gonna take a little break. And
You want to wait a second? We want to do this now, or
No, I mean we're just take turns. Just let him.
Yeah, y'all talk about real estate, man. Y'all
switch out.
I'll be here.
First of all,
my man?
I
I
love
love
it.
you. I love you too, brother. Yeah. Hey, look.
I'm-
we couldn't have fallen into a better group.
Yeah, I heard that.
Bo
man.
and I, we got a lot to be
Absolutely.
thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Jordan introduced me to Justin here, and told me he's a great guy. And actually, I saw him on the pod last time, and I was already like, I liked him a lot already. He seemed like a nice guy. So Jordan and him met, and at some point they started talking about maybe real estate or something. And Justin, he's got a background and he's been selling land for a while and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, heck yeah, come on, man, let's let's team
Great
up.
minds
So-
must have traveled in the same circles.
yeah, so
right,
he's
that's right, that's
he's
right.
been coming in and learning the ropes a little bit, like behind the scenes stuff over at my place, and man, he's gonna be dynamite, man.
I can't
Yeah.
wait. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we got to
Makes me look more professional. Hey, Justin, I'm gonna
Dude, you
need
gotta
to-
have somebody
I
in the
need you
group.
to call that guy.
I don't mind calling somebody.
yeah, right. So yeah, looking forward to working with you
Me
a lot,
too.
man. It's gonna be great
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
We got a good group here. And,
Absolutely. Yeah,
Bo,
great.
Bo and I needed that. You know, when I laid in jail a lot of nights, as you can probably imagine, thinking
Yeah.
about, you have a problem and then you being able to envision a solution. You get to a point where, and I thought I'd never get there, but finally I realized that, hey, I may actually get out. And,
Yeah.
Now what am I going to do?
There's probably no way in
I've had-
hell
I've
you'd
had-
ever
You
be
call
here.
your son. That's what you do
There's
when
no
you
way
get
you
out.
thought you'd ever be in this
Bo
situation.
and I were talking
Yeah.
pretty much every day, but
Yeah.
now I'm thinking I've been laying on my butt in jail, telling everybody if I could get out, what I would do. Now I
Yeah.
got to prove it.
Right,
So I mean,
yeah.
Nothing like a little adversity to launch your
right.
next stage in life, huh?
yeah, I tell you,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a new one on me.
Yeah, I love a little adversity.
I do
Sometimes
too.
I'll go get myself in trouble just so I can get back
I think
out
it
of
makes
it,
you
know?
stronger,
I'm
man.
gonna do some dumb
You know?
stuff tonight. And I go, well, I gotta come back from that. I gotta come out hard now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, man. And then when I met Beau, and I mean, Beau is just an angel, man. I can't believe what a great kid you got there. So,
you.
yeah, when I saw your connection with that kid, I was like, man, this is a dream dude right here. Let's go. You
Yeah,
know?
we got to. And I know we're talking about a lot here tonight, but we really got to we just got to be sure that this is a public interest story, and we just got to be sure that it gets to the people that can benefit from it.
Right.
I feel
And
that way.
I think there's a lot of people that are going to benefit from it. And,
Yeah.
I really hope that you make some change here, man. So yeah, hats off to you, because a lot of people, this would have crushed most people. Yeah, you should have teardrop tattoos by now, but no, my man came out of prison in a polo, baby. Let's go.
You didn't come out with a tattoo. I don't know. You're faking it. You're faking it.
Well,
Yeah. Did you have it lasered off or what?
I got more tattoos.
I can.
I've been in Ocean Springs my whole life. I don't know what
I saw
happened.
a lot of. You can rest assured, I saw a lot of tattoos go on in jail.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I bet.
I learned a lot. I learned. There are no more resourceful people than the people that you around in jail.
Right on. Yeah.
Tattoo ink in jail.
Yeah. I guess that's that adversity again.
That's
It's
that
almost like
adversity.
there ain't many
is.
challenges in prison. It's like, well, just like try to smuggle some stuff in there. It's like the most fun you could have.
Oh, it's well. You just see.
Yeah.
And I've actually told guys. I said, I don't know. Y'all are wasting way too much time trying to make money illegally in the real world. If you get
We're gonna
out,
figure out how to get out
for
of
the
here.
same amount of trouble, I know people that are rich and not nearly as smart as y'all are.
Right. Nah, I know that. That's for sure. I've been locked up a couple times. Once it was like a DUI or something. I hadn't even had but like a beer. And obviously they dropped that and were like, we're sorry. They apologized. And it was a big old deal. But that night I was in there, man, I was like, man, these dudes, I wanted to come back the next day and smuggle them in some cigarettes.
It's a whole, if anybody ever deserved a cigarette.
Yeah, I heard
I don't
that.
care why you're in jail. Jail is only appropriate. I'm not sure who it's appropriate for. But it's hard on people.
Yeah.
It's a hopeless situation. And tattoo ink, this is how they get tattoo ink. Did I tell you this?
Tell us this story. Yeah.
Tattoo ink. So of course they serve meals on plastic trays in jail, and you get these thick plastic sporks, like fork spoon combination. And they will take these plastic sporks or any other kind of plastic that they get their hands on and set it on fire and position it underneath the stainless steel table and let the soot collect on the bottom of the table, on the bottom side of the table.
Yeah.
And scrape it off into any container they can find, add a little water to it and stir it up. That's the ink. That's the tattoo ink.
Come on, that's wild. It seems toxic, don't it?
I'm sure they're worried about that.
I'm in prison. I don't care.
There's a lot of, and anybody that's been will tell you that. There may be other ways to acquire it. You can take, I've seen tattoo guns made out of hair clippers. They'll take hair clippers and once they get a little age on them, because that's the only way to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And maybe in prison, in actual prisons, they have barbers, but in jail they don't. They just pass these clippers around to zone. So the guys they'll take the motor out of the clippers, and they'll rig it up for a needle. They take an ink pen, the little springs out of an ink pen, and pull it out straight. Heat it up with a cigarette lighter and pull it out straight, and use that for the needle for the tattoo gun. Dip it in the ink, and that's what they do.
Come on, that's wild.
What was one of the craziest meals you made in jail?
Yeah. Bussing.
Well, jailhouse.
Bussin', you know what I'm talking about.
Literally, jailhouse. The pizza. Of course, the staple of the jailhouse diet is the ramen noodle. I don't know if anybody knows that.
The base of everything.
Yeah.
I learned this from Bussin'.
It's the staple of the jailhouse diet. For the people that have money on their book to buy commissary with, if you're on a zone of 15 people, 6 or 7 people will be the high side of the number of people that have money to do anything really with. The other 7 or 8 probably won't have any money. So, but everybody finds everybody finds a way to include everybody in normal circumstances, and jailhouse pizza is probably one of the it's one of the only things that I said. Well, when I get out, I'm going to make one of these,
Come on.
and I'll make y'all one.
Fresher
night.
ingredients.
got
though,
to.
You
sir.
got to.
We got to.
Yeah.
We'll do that on the pod, man.
So
Make
what,
it
what,
just-
what they'll do when they they get 3 meals a day. So the guys that don't have any money will contribute their cornbread off their tray to the pizza that's going to be served later that night. Everybody's got to give something up. You don't get to eat for nothing.
No.
So if you don't have any money, you got to give something off your tray that you get. And so everybody, they pitch in cornbread. So they'll take the cornbread off the trays, and they'll take these ramen noodles. They'll put them in a trash bag, add a little water, then let it all turn to mush, and then they'll turn the trash bag wrong side out on top of the table, stainless steel table, smooth all that out. That's the crust,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll take smoked sausage and Cheetos and whatever you can buy on commissary, sprinkle on top, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, slice
If
it
you
up.
did, I had never been hungry in my life until I went to jail, because it just
It's all you can do to get some kind of enjoyment, right?
well, just as simply the number of calories that they feed you every day. Just you don't realize how much you eat in today's time in the free world.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, we pick a little here, pick a little there, but when you put into a situation where food's not readily available, it's tough to deal with.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
or
People-
it's only available exactly 3 times a day: morning, lunch, and dinner, and that's it.
Is
There's
that- you
no
get morning,
it's
lunch?
Like,
You
yeah,
get
that's a
breakfast,
big
lunch,
deal.
dinner?
They feed you at 5 o'clock in the morning. They
Yeah,
feed you at 11 o'clock, and they feed you at 4 o'clock. So you got a 13-hour period there between 4 and 5
Wow.
o'clock the next morning where there's no food,
Wow.
and it's
That's brutal.
Well, and you got a period between breakfast and lunch where there's no food. I
Yeah.
mean, which you don't think about.
yeah.
You think, well, that's
Yeah.
not very long, but in the free world, you can eat
Yeah.
a bag of.
And then the only thing
Yeah.
you can do in your spare time, a lot of people want to work out and lift and do all that to get fit, and you're not even eating enough to really
Yeah,
sustain that energy. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
I'm not going to work out because then I'll be hungry for the next 10 hours. Like a lot hungrier too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
They did that at Elk River. It was like, and they made good food at Elk River too. It wasn't jail food. It was like they had I don't know who they had. It was some kind of chef or some guy that retired from an actual restaurant, like a good restaurant. But
Oh, so he's over here eating good, and you're over here like,
Well, so
Oh, I mean,
making
so-
ramen noodle
Bo-
pizza.
go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
Beau story's yet to really come out. See, I got put in jail 2018, and Beau was 12, and when he was 14, we were together. I mean, Beau relied heavily on me, and I relied heavily on him, to be honest with you. And so we were separated, and he didn't know where I was, what happened. I mean, he knew that I was arrested for contempt,
Mm-hmm.
but he
It
didn't.
was bullshit. Too.
He didn't
Yeah.
know when I would come back.
Yeah.
And he
Say
couldn't-
that louder. We couldn't
Say
hear
it
you.
louder. Say it
Yeah.
louder for the guys in the
I
back.
knew it was bullshit too.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do shit about it because of
Yeah.
how old I was.
Right.
But
Right.
So of all of the people that would have told you that I was not doing what I should have been doing, is whatever they want to tell you as a parent. Once I went to jail, nobody really stepped up to do anything with Beau,
no.
and he got into trouble at school about a year and a half later, almost 2 years later, and they took him before the youth court and basically sentenced him to his grandparents' care, and they basically put him in a training academy for a couple of years.
Wow.
Well,
And so he went through his own difficulties. You can.
I
Was
went
that,
to.
was that a positive experience for you? Would you say? Do you feel like it benefited you at all?
No, not
No.
really. I mean, I got in trouble at school, and it was big enough to get me expelled for a 365-day calendar year.
Mm.
Wow.
So they had to expel me for that long.
Right.
And this was right before COVID hit too.
Okay.
COVID screwed a lot of things up, but and so I went to my court hearing, and my judge was some dickhead. I forgot what his name is, but anyway, I was there with my mother and her parents, and I was being a little smart ass because my dad was in jail, and I was pissed off about it. And I was just an angry kid, and they were trying to scare me. I could send you to juvie and all this, and I'm just saying yes sir, going along with it. And then so the court hearing ends, and we get back in the car with my mother and her parents, and I'm talking shit again because we're out of the courtroom, and I'm like
And your dad
backfired
can't
up
beat your
again.
ass
Yeah, I'm
either,
mad again. And they're like, if you don't stop, we're gonna turn around. I'm like, fuck you, turn around. I don't care. And so they turned around, and I was like, oh shit, they turned around. And so we went back to the courtroom, and I was terrified at this point because I'm just used to barking, not biting, you know. And so anyway, I smart offed enough, and they put me in juvie for 3 days, I think,
Right.
in Greenwood. So, but I mean, it wasn't terrible or anything. It was just, but it, and so after 3 days, my mother and her father came and picked me up. COVID hit, was huge at this time. People were dying, and it was shut down. The country was shut down. And they told me that I was going to Elk River in Alabama. I think it's close to Huntsville, maybe. Yeah, it's Elk River. If you look it up, you can find it. It was the only place that remained open after COVID hit big. It was the only place that remained open that still accepted kids in. And so I was scheduled to go there, and I went there. It was in the middle of nowhere, and somewhere in Alabama. And it was an experience. I stayed there for 2 months before I went to French camp.
What was your daily schedule like at Elk River? What'd you do?
Dude, it was so you're not allowed to speak freely at Elk River. Like, if you want to speak, you have to raise your hand like this.
Like this?
Like, you can never speak. Yeah, like
Two fingers.
Yes, like once they get you sleep in shacks. By the way, it's like it's kind of like a globe thing, like because they have ranks. And once you get to a certain rank,
It sounds like the Holocaust.
You get to sleep. It's pretty much like the Holocaust.
What you're describing right now?
It's pretty much like the Holocaust.
I saw this in a textbook somewhere.
Yeah. And so when you first get there, you sleep in like globes, these like globe dome things. And it's like sleeping bags and stuff,
Yeah.
And when you wake up in the morning, you make your sleeping bag, and your group leader, which is an adult, comes to get you. And you line up, and you're dressed and everything in like a t-shirt and kind of like what you would go hiking in, because like it's in the woods. I mean, it's like, and so, but yeah, the biggest thing for me was you can't speak. I was like, this is so crazy. I can't talk.
That'll make you go crazy in itself.
Dude, hell yeah. Like, you can't just say stuff. Like, you have to raise your hand, and you can't say stupid shit either. When you raise your hand, you're going to get in trouble.
I can imagine.
So, you go to PT in the morning, you work out for 45 minutes, you have breakfast, which was always, they had good food. I mean, I can't dog them for that. They had really good food. But,
There you go.
And then each group had like a cleaning schedule. So you would clean something, and then you would go to therapy. They had like a therapy thing. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, you would go to school. They had like a learning thing, like an online school thing, so that you could still get like an embarrassment of an education while you were there, just learn
Don't
stupid
forget about
stuff.
that,
Yeah. And then you would work your way up until you graduated. So there were kids there that were there for different things. Some kids were there because, they committed assault or something crazy, and it was their first charge or whatever. So the judge was like, okay, if you go to this place, and you graduate, then you're good. Some of it was drugs. Some of it was kids were just acting up at home, and their parents would just send them to this place, But some of it was crazy shit. Some of it was like, this kid stab somebody or something, you know, and is like there for that.
Who got you out? So when did they say,
did
"Hey,
his time."
we're getting you out"?
So-
And how did that go?
Yeah. Well, they tell you when you get there, they say, all right, if you do what you're supposed to, you'll get out in 2 months, which is bullshit. If you ever go to Elk River,
That sounds like
if you ever go to Elk
promotion
River,
opportunity to fucking
Sounds like a
fucking
4 or 5
lying.
Is that what they told you, Justin?
Hey, that's another place
Son
that's
of a
bullshit.
bitch.
and after they tell you that, they strip search you. So
Oh, man.
So
You
what
know.
would you say?
I had my first experience squatting down in front of a grown ass
You got
man.
to the old bald.
Yeah, butt naked.
That's one of the-
No, that's a minor though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I was
Right.
like
Can we-
14. I
Can
mean,
we
there's-
raise flags there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
Jack-
Jackson
kinds of
County
red
Jail. That was
flags.
one of the weirdest experiences.
A minor.
I know that's what I'm saying, but that is a weird
Never done that.
experience.
Do you have
Yeah,
to cough
dude,
or
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Were you able to talk to your
You have to
dad at all
spread your
while you were in
cheeks?
there?
No,
No.
you're not
Wow.
able to talk to anybody
Wow.
until once you get to a certain rank. You have a scheduled like a 15-minute phone call once per 2 weeks or something with your parent.
It's a jail.
Yeah.
That's literally
So
what
your-
it is.
yeah,
your,
it's-
your dad had no idea you were
Yeah.
in there.
No, we didn't have
Wow.
any communication. Yeah.
So
Maybe Kevin Bacon.
How often did y'all get to talk while he was in jail, but you weren't in there? Did y'all get to talk on the phone much?
The military one.
Well, after I left from Elk River after 2 months, I went to French camp.
Mm-hmm.
And French camp it's a Christian boarding school in Winona, Mississippi.
Okay.
So it's not as strict. It's not as cut off from the world. It's just a Christian boarding school, you know.
that
And
sounds
so,
like a prison to me.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah,
were getting
pretty
out
much.
of Elk River, your mom came and got you and said you were going to French camp.
yes, yeah.
And why was that?
Because COVID just calmed down at that point. It was like 2 months after COVID got really big and everything shut down and stuff started to open back up.
She blamed it on
And
COVID.
French camp opened back up. And
She blames your incarceration on COVID.
she did.
Just tell it, bro.
No, my
Is she
yeah.
wearing a
Blamed your
mask right now?
incarceration on COVID?
Is your mom
So she
wearing a
didn't have
mask
to-
right now?
She blamed it on something different every time I asked
Mm-hmm.
her. Like it was she's crazy. I don't know what her problem is, but
She didn't like that you still loved your dad, what it
yes.
was.
Yeah, and but I wasn't afraid to say that either.
Mhm.
And it pissed a lot of people off because
I
I was
bet.
like, I don't want you, I want my dad, you
Come
know.
on.
And they were like, all right, we'll show you you know, we'll show you something for that.
So-
And so
Chip off the old block.
yeah, dude. She
But
said,
was it like a rescue attempt? Like, we're getting you out of here? Like, the ones that put you
kinda.
in there? It was
I mean,
like,
she-
we
Somewhere
got
way
you.
better, I swear.
We
Yeah.
got you, brother.
in Elk River, I was desperate
Hey,
to
hold
get
on,
out of Elk
hold on,
River.
Beau, real quick though. And Anthony has a good point though. It's like, well, for you to cough and go through the situation, which if you're guys, if you ever been in a holding tank, which I've been there, you have to do these kind of things. This you have to do. You have to kind of do it. But like you were a minor.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. It's like, look, it's fine. I'm an adult. It sounds weird to like expose yourself as a minor.
Super weird.
Yeah, in a
It-
boarding school.
It's super weird to feel comfortable leaving your children.
Yeah, why
with-
is that? Why is that legal? That's
Well, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know, but it's just weird to leave your children with other adults that you don't know at all.
Yeah.
You don't know their background. You don't know where they're from, what they're in. I mean,
Who did
they,
that to
they
you?
could be doing anything to your child, and
Elk
you don't know
River.
shit. You know,
But who put you in there?
my mother.
Okay, just
And her
wanna make sure
parents.
we
I mean,
Seems like a
they-
better solution would be to let your dad out of jail and let you go stay with your dad, maybe. And- yeah, I mean,
None of this shit would have ever
it
happened.
seems like a better
Yeah.
solution to me.
they'd still be in there. They've been having too much
Hey,
fun.
civil
bro.
discontempt is serious shit, though. I mean, you know, you can't
Yeah.
just.
This podcast seems
Yeah,
nothing but
I
common
mean-
sense right now.
Crazy.
We've
They're
let
crazy
nothing
as
but common
shit.
sense.
you know?
Yeah, stop. They might be protesting outside in a couple minutes.
It's hard to come to terms with. I know you love your son. I mean,
100,000%.
and our relationship mix. Yours, he's with you all the time. I mean, I had a backpack. I had one of those backpacks you put your kids in when they're little.
I had one.
I took Beau places he didn't even need to be when
I
I
had
was
the
little.
front- I
I
had
took
the
him
front
everywhere
one.
with me.
I had the front one. You know?
Everywhere. Yeah. And so, I mean, I've got probably 5,000 pictures of. I mean, you know, but
This is you being a good dad, bud.
well, I know,
He
but
was
what
always a good
I
dad.
mean is, just imagine going in a room with people that told you that this is the reality of family court. You go into a room with people who tell you they're going to take your son from you and send him somewhere that you're not going to like, and tell him things you don't want him, treat him in ways that they're going to make you uncomfortable, that you're going to hate. You're going to be in jail while it goes on. There's not going to be anything you can do about it, and they're going to make sure that you understand that they're doing it just to be mean to both of you. And look, and your son is going to look at you. He's not going to be worried because you're his hero, and you can prevent all these things, and he knows it, because when he's with you, nothing ever goes wrong. But you're going to be terrified because he don't know what's about to happen, and you do, and so that's how it goes down every day in family court.
Yeah.
It's every week in every county and in this state. It happens.
Was that a for-profit prison that you were in? Was that one of them private prisons?
It was a private jail,
Yeah,
but
private jail, yeah.
the jails. One misconception is that the jails are only carrying out the orders of the courts.
Right.
You know, when you're turned over to the jail, they're just fulfilling their duty to the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm.
You know, frankly, they don't know anything about court. I mean, they go back and forth to the courts and bring prisoners over to the jail, but it's not a jail. Yeah, but the county spent $150,000 housing me in the jail while this was all going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in fact, the warden at the jail was one of the reasons he played a significant role in me being able to contact Ron, the guy that helped me get out eventually.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, a lot went into it.
Awesome.
But the warden at the jail, Pat Jones, he would not mind me saying his name, is a true friend.
All right.
Yeah,
I love
to
to
this
hear
day.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, good dude.
That's only miracles too. I mean, that's not like
Yeah, it just
that was luck. Is what that was. You just happened to meet
Yeah.
somebody who gave a shit.
If the damn
know?
warden loves you and your son loves you, like what the fuck happened?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to that
yeah.
guy.
Hey, my son loves you, dude. Oliver loves you. So I mean, shit. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
You
Yeah.
This is the most respectable kid I've ever met. Like,
100%.
I mean, it's 100%.
So when Beau, when they took Beau before the youth court, see, I'm a joint. I'm to this day. Well, he's 18 now. It doesn't matter. But I was never. One of the Mississippi Supreme Court justices said this recently. My case has never been adjudicated. They held me in jail for 6 years, and there's never been an ending. Nothing was ever really done. The custody was never even changed. But when he was taken before the youth court, I was entitled to be there, and I wrote. They served me with paperwork that said he would be taken before the youth court in Grenada County, and I wrote letters to the youth court, but they had never answered my letters. They did all that without me being involved.
So the Supreme Justice had something to say about
There are 9 Mississippi Supreme Court justices, and so I was released on June the 14th, 2024. The order that was entered on that day found that I owed my ex-wife $21,000 in legal fees for her trouble keeping me in jail for 6 years. Okay?
For her attorney.
For her attorney's fees and for the guardian ad litem who did nothing.
Shit.
All right. 2 days later, well, I say 2 days, roughly 6 days later, without my knowledge, 2 more orders were entered that doubled that amount to $43,000. So a money judgment was entered the day that they released me for $21,000. It was doubled about a week later. So right now, even though my child support is paid, I am under an order to pay my ex-wife $44,000 and trumped up fees.
Sounds almost like an excuse to lock you back up at
It
some
sounds
point,
almost
huh?
like an excuse. So I appealed that, and I appealed that money judgment. And because I had been in jail so long, obviously I don't have any money left for, it's expensive to appeal. And so I asked to be able to appeal without prepayment of the fees, and the Mississippi Supreme Court has denied my request to do that. And 8 of them, they entered an order that said all 9 justices had reviewed the information. One of the justices came out and said it was unfair, that my case had never been heard, it's just pretty profound what he said in his dissent. And I'll post that.
On what do we got the website?
So we're talking about, what we're talking about here right now is I'm gonna try to educate the general public to the significance of my case, and I'm going to do that by posting some documents and stuff online in the near future. And
it's going to be www.justinmcphail.com.
that's correct.
And it's going to be some profound shit, and you're going to want to read about it.
You're not going to have to take my word for any of this. This is all going to be
Judson, no, it's not Harrison County. What county is it?
Grenada.
This is Grenada.
It's
Grenada County.
Grenada County. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, yeah, Justin. He's Harrison County, and he's in that situation. He says, please tell me this wasn't. Yeah. No, yeah, Justin, that says absolute terrible. Justin Wetzel. He's a big part of the Harrison County.
Okay.
So he was just like, please don't tell me this is our county.
No.
He is a political servant. Like
This is Judicial District 3. Well,
he said, thank
Chancery.
God. that's what he does.
You better be glad.
That's what he does.
So before we get to, I don't, we got so much going on here. Beau has never, this podcast and the podcast before it is the first time that Beau has ever been able to tell any of his views ever. The custody case started 2015, and I got put in jail 2018. In 2022, I never even had a bond. In 2022, I finally gathered enough information up to convince an attorney to request a bond, and so they set a hearing date. Beau was going to testify at that hearing to tell the court why he wanted me out of jail.
I had a subpoena to
Well,
testify. It was
subpoena
more
to
than a
testify.
testimony.
They had a secret hearing to block his testimony. He has never to this day been able to say the court record does not include his view. Thank you, Jordan. Because, he's getting to tell, this is releasing some pressure.
Thank you. Seriously.
That's
This
us.
is
We're
That's what
giving
the podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Telling stories.
I just gotta say this to Justin real quick. There, Justin is the circuit clerk at Harrison County. So, Justin, no, it's not you. He's
He's the circuit clerk.
Yeah, in Harrison County.
No, this is not his problem. Yeah, this is. My case was handled in Chancery Court. Chancery Court.
No, somebody came.
I think it was just some drunks passing by trying to get a drink or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody yelling at the door.
Okay. No, but Justin was like freaking out because telling Justin, like he was just freaking out because he's like, that's his position. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
This is a Chancery Court issue in Mississippi.
You're reading right. That's right there.
It is all right there.
Yeah.
So somebody with knowledge of the system has your back, Justin. And
Yeah, well, we need more people.
Yeah.
I think that.
I'll take it to another level. Like,
Come on
so, they say that we're mimicking Europe, so we got a girlfriend in Spain. We've been friends with her for 20 years. She's lovely. The schools are shutting down over there because no one's making children. Sounds crazy, right? No one's making children because, well, the government doesn't pay for it first and foremost, and they can't afford it. But I almost think like some of the ideal there, like the way I've seen children get weaponized, and I see it, and this is serious, took your damn life away shit, but I see it like low level around here, like babies' mamas and dads and stuff fighting and, weaponizing the children is why they're pieces of shit or why they weren't here or they shouldn't have been here then, and, domestics and all that. And I never procreated my whole life, and I think that's why. Because I watched my parents use me for bullshit. Like, I hate it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the human race is going to die out anytime soon. But I'm saying nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to. Well, it's
Well, just yeah. I mean,
You're not wrong.
this is
no one wants to procreate.
It's scary.
Well, some people
Elon Musk
do.
out there procreating.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Except for Jordan.
We got to populate Mars
the
now.
super wealthy.
I mean,
I'm in.
I don't want to procreate, and I'm not the only one. I mean, because I got people, and if you did, and you did so willingly, and I mean, but I'm just saying, it's relevant, man. I see it gets weaponized. They're weaponizing the children.
One of my arguments is that the in the beginning, the state favors marriage because married couples are easier to control, and
Yes.
and I mean this
Exactly
is
fucking
well known. It's not completely illogical that the state has come to favor marriage, but so in the beginning, this was maybe to punish people for divorce a little bit, to discourage divorce. But what's happened is this court system has become so weaponized that people are now incentivized to leave marriage. So I would never recommend somebody be married now. I mean, in the beginning it was it favored marriage, and the divorce was to kind of punish people for, or discourage divorce. But now it's so bad that it's discouraging marriage.
Can I
It
ask you a
really
question?
is.
Can I ask you a question though? And I know your situation where you 6 years 1 month there in the county jail, but like if if you didn't have Beau at all to have your life, but would you serve that time to have your son? Like,
Oh, I'd do anything for Beau. Yeah.
it's a feeling when you do have your own child. It is a feeling where it's like if somebody says I'll spend my whole life in jail because it's like my kids it's a weird feeling.
It is.
Like last night, like he jumped in bed at 1 o'clock, kicked me right in the face. I'm like, shit. And then he grabbed my neck and choked me. And that was that feeling. Like for me was
What
like,
are you gonna do when Oliver gets a little bit bigger and then he's actually choking you out, tapping
He's
you
gonna
out?
have to start
He does it
taking
right now.
jiu-jitsu classes
yeah, he
because
does.
there's no
No,
other
he's
choice.
already-
Yeah.
Him and Oliver take the same class.
There's no other choice, dude.
dude, it's fine, but it's just I don't know, man. It's just like it's like Christmas. Like always, like I get up before him because I know like the excitement towards like Christmas or his birthday. Just a small thing, simple things where it's like I can have the worst day. I could be so in debt and bills. I could have people talk like just be rude and shitty to me. But like my son's like, hey, you want to watch Jurassic Park? And it's just like me and him cuddling and shit. I don't know. It's just
Well, that's and all these things are protected by the First Amendment. These things have been articulated by the U.S. Supreme Court as protected. I mean, it's the intimacy of parents and their children, family units. All these things are protected. I mean, the laws are there to protect them, but the states circumvent those laws and have cut off your ability to access these laws. It's
been corruption for a long fucking time.
it's so bad. It's unbelievable.
Your situation is unheard of, unprecedented. Ron said that, and Ron's been in this for 20 plus years. He's a congressional scholar, or constitutional scholar, sorry. And he said that. So that's what I'm saying for people like me. Like, I mean, I'm terrified of trying to, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think that I don't know that I'll get incarcerated, but I'm like the way I see like my friends, babies, mom, or their wives even weaponize the children, like, and don't let the husband leave the house, and they can. I don't know, man. All of it, just
Their whole lives are
kids
just flipped upside down.
Weaponized. Kids are weaponized. It used to be a celebration. Everybody was partying, like, and the street lights come on. Everybody was outside together and shit. But now it's like it's just weaponized.
Divorce rates are up. People can't stay in
Divorce rates
relationships
are-
anymore. Yeah, well,
divorce rates are all of it. Who's not divorced?
exactly. That's what I just said.
Please tell me who's not divorced.
This I sent you guys a podcast that I found online on Substack. I don't mean to direct anybody away from Jordan because Jordan is my man.
Mm-hmm.
But this is becoming more of this issue is about to move to the forefront. I really believe that. But this is what was I going with that?
Share David.
David Weigel.
David Weigel is on Substack talking about this, what happened to him. You know, this is the other thing. I had a conversation with my court reporter this past week via email. My appeal is probably about to be dismissed because I don't have the money to come up. I can't pay I don't have the money to continue the appeal. And so out of concern that the records will be destroyed, I started a conversation with my court reporter to just engage her in a conversation about what records that she had available that she could provide me with. So court reporters are the ultimate. I mean, the court reporters in the courtroom, she's reporting everything that's said, right? And these transcripts are prepared from her notes, and the transcripts are what the appeals courts base their, you know. So the appeals courts can only consider what's said in the lower courts, and the court reporter is the main source of information. Court reporters, everybody, it's just commonly known that they have audio backups of what is said in court.
You have to legally. You have to have all that like recorded.
Right. It just makes perfect. And this, I mean, she's typing notes, but it's 2025. I mean, surely they're going to record. And so, if you don't agree with the transcripts, you should be able to ask for a copy of these audio backups to verify the accuracy of her notes. Well, she said that she destroyed all of the audio backups of all the transcripts in my case.
Mm.
So,
have you filed a Freedom of Information Act on that?
Well, I have not. I didn't know to, but that's a good question. But I asked her, this is all an email. I said, well, is that in keeping with the professional standards by which you're licensed? And she said, yes. You know, the whole thing is muddy water. I'm just telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go, like, you said weaponizing. So for just common sense, people do now look at having a kid in relationships, marriage stuff as also a paycheck. I know that's a big deal too. Is like I have friends that like are divorced and they send their kids paychecks, but the wife thinks it's their paycheck. In reality, it goes supposed to go
child
to
support. It's always supposed to go to the kid, and that was something I always dealt with. You know,
We've both dealt with that.
I've been there too.
I want to make this point before do not think we're all men sitting here. This is more than a father's rights issue. My judge that incarcerated me is well known to incarcerate women on the same basis. He's done so, and I can point you to you can find anything that's appealed in any of the states on Google Scholar now, and I can point you to he is ruthless when it comes to incarcerating, and women are no exception.
Sounds like somebody Doge might need to audit, huh?
But Doge definitely needs to audit. Definitely needs to audit. It's going to come to that, I hope.
Let's do it.
Was this a campaign year?
This is a campaign.
Was it a campaign year for some of these
That's the other thing.
officials?
My judge ran for Mississippi Supreme Court while I was incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 8 attorneys that I had told me out of his own mouth that the reason that I was in jail was because the people supporting my ex-wife's, the financial support behind her legal campaign were also supporting my judge while he ran for Supreme Court, Mississippi Supreme Court Justice.
Ain't that a fucking coincidence?
That is, if that's not election fraud, I don't know what is. And look, that brings me to my next point. I've debated long about whether to say this or not, but I don't see how I can avoid it.
Shit, say it.
This is who is not going to help you. When you find yourself at odds with the family court over your children and the most important things that you've ever had, there are a number of people that are not going to help you. First of all, your family is going to be misinformed and scared, and they're going to fall away from you. It's going to be you and your child. Second of all, the church community. Supposedly, and I was raised a Christian. I mean, but 220-something million people identify as Christians in this country. And I've read the Bible many times, and it says throughout the Bible no hair on a child's head will be harmed, this and that and the other. But these people are not going to come to your aid. I'm going to tell you. Well, I can't say that. Let me say this. This is what I can say. I was incarcerated in Mississippi, in Grenada, in what would be considered the heart of the Bible Belt. I don't know how many churches there are in Grenada, but there are a lot. And it's safe to say that at least half of those churches were aware of what was going on. And any one of them could have put enough pressure on the judge to get Beau and I back together. Nothing was done. It's, go ahead, Beau.
I went to speak to two people in particular that I'm 100% positive could have done something about it. Didn't do shit. That
But Beau was instrumental in having me released. Yeah.
that you know, they have children and they have families and they,
Yeah.
but you know,
Uh,
I went to speak to give up my dignity, really, to people, to, you know, just say, look, we need help and there ain't shit I can do, you know, can you do something? And nothing came out of it, you know. And that, I mean, that set my
our state representative,
Our
is
state representative. I went to speak at his office. I spoke to him in his fucking office. He didn't do anything.
Well-
I'm not gonna say his name. But
no, don't say his name.
but I went. You know,
But he,
I went and did that.
yeah, listen, I mean, this is the power. This it's so ingrained in our society. These people cannot afford to get involved for fear of losing everything they have. I'm just telling you, it's that serious. And so our state representative is a powerful criminal law attorney in Grenada. And he fears very little, but he would not get involved in our case because he didn't want the publicity. He could have done something about it, but he would not.
I'm not very inclined to get in between the Lees and the McPhails. I think it was the way that it was phrased.
This is 5 years into it. This is more than a speeding ticket we're trying to get fixed, people. This is serious. I mean, this
I
is
think what
death.
we need is,
You know,
because I'm gonna say it first. We need President Trump and Elon Musk to watch this fucking podcast.
which brings it to my next point.
Well, watch the
Beau-
fucking podcast. It's live. It's out
Beau drove to Ole Miss.
It's your family, though.
Drove to the University of Mississippi. I'm going to call them out because this is the truth. It's nothing but the truth. All right, so he drove to Oxford to the, University of Mississippi Law School, who embedded in their School of Law is a national entity known as the MacArthur Justice Center. Now you can go to their website tonight, and they save everybody, the poor, the downtrodden, the mistreated, and the thing is headed up by an attorney who we had 3-4 conversations with on the telephone, 3-way call, me at the jail, Beau on his cell phone, and this head of the MacArthur Justice Center at the School of Law at Ole Miss. For an hour we talked. They acknowledged the wrongness of my incarceration and the fact it was an abuse of the judge's, just abuse of power, just totally obtuse in all ways.
Yeah.
And that they were going to do something about it, and in the end they just fell away.
He even attended one of the hearings, didn't he? He
Came
spoke
to
to
one of the
Debbie.
hearings.
Yeah.
Talked to everybody at the hearing except me and left, and never came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the Ole Miss School of Law. That's what our law schools are doing I'm just telling you, this is real, people. And
and they're putting people out there.
I mean, this is what's really going on.
And they're putting people out there.
The FBI, if you go to their website, I'm a nobody, and I know that. You go to their website, they protect. These are core constitutional rights. The right to cross the street, not at a crosswalk, is not what I'm talking about. This these are the First Amendment rights. These are right to your children. This is I'm 5 years into incarceration, and I know it's illegal, and everybody else knows it's illegal. And I'm calling I called the FBI 6-7 times, and I'm not saying that they could do anything about it. Maybe they're not empowered to, but you can forget their help. They're not. Nobody's going to come to your rescue. This is such a deep subject and such a corrupt institution that people won't touch it. And then finally, I will say that judges and attorneys, if you read the professional conduct code of attorneys all across the country, attorneys are bound to report judicial misconduct if they're aware of it. If they don't, they could lose their license. Well, guess what that's worth? Every attorney in North Mississippi, is safe to say, knew what was going on with my case, because I had 8 different attorneys. Before that, I'd been in the land business for 25 years.
Repeat that again. How many attorneys did you have?
I have had 8. There are 8 attorneys entered appearances on the record in my case, and not one attorney.
So that's true factual. Could you name the attorneys?
Are these
Absolutely, I
Are they
could.
still
Name
active?
them right now, because that's
go.
factual. They represent. That was your attorneys, so you can name their names.
Jimmy Powell,
Call them out.
Helen Kelly,
Putt Cruel.
Putt Cruel, James Franks, Corey Williamson, Putt Cruel,
Putt Cruel again. Because guess what?
That's a bastard.
Guess who went to his office to talk to him and ask him to represent my dad again?
Eddie
Motherfucker.
Lancaster. Is that 7?
Eddie
We
Lancaster.
got
I think
one
you're
more.
6, but it don't shit 6. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, I've left
Burn
somebody.
everybody.
I've
Well,
left
burn
somebody
everybody.
out.
No, but I mean, on that situation of the actual like full blown that coming out of your mouth that was representing your case.
No, I've had, look, and not a single one of them
Those attorneys
would
misrepresented you.
have mentioned that not one constitutional right has been expounded upon by any attorney in my case from the beginning to the end. The only person that ever raised constitutional rights was me. The last attorney that I had was Putt Cruel, and he said on the court record that he did not know anything about the constitutional rights. He was not a constitutional attorney, and he was not going to be held to that standard, and he quit.
There you go.
Now this is an atrocity in itself, because obviously court officers, attorneys, and judges take an oath to protect the Constitution.
Absolutely.
And
That's the whole damn foundation.
That's the whole
supposed to be the
foundation.
this is serious.
It all got lost somewhere a lot, man.
Well, they're all afraid of the bigger system.
The
Just-
retro-
I mean, we're all at risk just by being here talking
We
about
sure
this story.
are.
I think
these and look at and these guys.
Yeah,
And look, and
it's our
these-
last day
and-
of freedom. What's
And
the-
these guys' defense, they go to law school, they acquire student debt. I don't doubt for 1 second that they think when they get out of law school they're going to save the world. They hit the system and realize how it really works, but it's too late. They got student. I mean,
They're jaded before
They
they
got kids.
graduate.
Jaded.
they're jaded there. Yeah. So
Got so many kids.
I can't get blurred.
Last one?
Justin, yeah, read that. Up on screen.
The last one.
Right here.
Judge wouldn't approve his appeal to proceed informal
Papyrus.
Sorry. I wouldn't think if he could prove that he didn't have the funds or the assets, the judge would approve IFP status. Then again, sounds like the court hasn't been very favorable to him from the beginning.
I've entered affidavits. All that I know to do is enter affidavits attesting to my informal pauperius status, which informal pauperius just means you're a pauper. It means you don't have any money. It's just a Latin term for being a
That's
pauper.
all these fucking
So-
terms. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but I've entered.
It's
You
a
know,
bunch of
they
bullshit.
require
Yeah,
you
I
enter
mean,
affidavits, and I've done all
the
that.
cooler it sounds, the more it seems believable. I get it. I mean, like it's kind of like old English.
This
using
case is
some other
too.
doctrines that we talked about.
This case is too profound to let slide. We need what I need, and I don't know exactly what I need, but I can only see. Beau and I'm a disgruntled father who's mad at the system, and that's all that I'll be taken to be by anybody that doesn't know me. But so what I need is, I need an established private detective. This is what I think I need. Private detective, perhaps with a law enforcement background, who's retired, that can bridge the gap between my case, between my words and the people that need to really look into this. So they can come and they can investigate my case. They can take what I say and suggest, and they can put it all together and make sure it makes sense, put it in a report, certify it, and send it on up the ladder. That's what I need.
But I think you have some other data being accumulated from another source that recognized it, and they are working
Tons of data, yeah.
on the backside of it, and fucking revenge.
I said we'd make a documentary.
Revenge.
This is just
right now.
This is just too substantial to let slide.
We in pre-production right now, baby.
Hey, let's close this out. This will be
let's close
part
it out.
2. We'll do part 3. Justin, look right in the damn camera. Whatever you want to say, but your .com, drop that right now.
JustinMcPhail.com. It's going to take some time to populate this, and I don't know.
But it's your X. You have it on X. That's where you need to find Justin. It's going to be on X right now, and then a website will be built where you'll get a lot more information. But this is where we start.
Where we start. It's the starting place. This is our group. We've got a couple people that I want to include: Ron Palmer and Sherry Palmer. They're not here with us, but they will be. And this is our group. And where did Coop run off to? And Coop.
He'll be back.
So anyway, we're going to do this. We're going to take our show on the road, people.
And then I want to drop this at got new Mardi Gras merch. What do you think, Kate?
New Mardi Gras
merch.
Just dropped today.
Yo,
in
guys.
shop
We got
today
new
at
Mardi Gras.
Pascagoula and Ocean Springs. Get that before the night parade on the 28th and Fat Tuesday.
And if you need
I gotta
insurance,
say they look pretty damn good. So
if you need real estate, you got Brad J over here, and then if you need
That's
insurance,
right,
you got Oliver Scott Insurance. Bo, I love you. You do have
we
well
love
manners.
you, man.
let's
We
do a
love all
little
y'all.
comment thing, like free coffee on whoever comments something.
Whatever you want.
What do we say?
Well, first of all, I want to welcome it. Let me say one more thing before we get
sponsor some of them coffees
before we leave here. I don't want to make this. I'm not trying to assert that I think all people involved with family court are bad. What I am trying to assert is that the people that are not bad need to begin to come forward and talk about this issue, lest you be included in the people that are bad, because there are so many of them. So, work with us here. Same with these people, these attorneys and judges. All of them know what's going on, all of them, and they're sitting in the congregations at all these churches every Sunday. So when your preacher says stand up and turn to your friends and neighbors and shake hands, ask these people what they know about it. Look them in the eye and see if they lie to you. I mean, we have to separate this has to be done. You have to separate yourself. These people have to be pushed out where we can get to them.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
if
what I
anybody
think.
has any information that could lead to the arrest,
That's right. Feel free to reach out. We don't want. In all fairness, we don't want Jesus to come back and these people be sitting in the congregation with you. How's that going to look? Come on now.
Let's do hashtag do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
First person to
I
do
mean
that
it.
gets a free
I'm
coffee.
serious.
Hell yeah.
I love y'all. Over
Let's
and
end
out.
it on that.
Also, we ain't fucking leaving.
and we didn't hang ourselves.
No, we're not. We're all in. All right, love you
Getting away
guys.
from
Thank you
Beau.
so much for tuning
All right,
in.
guys. Thank y'all.